Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Myself Dr. Sumeet Patil, and I make videos upon English literature, wherein up till now I have made several videos. You can go and watch on my YouTube channel. But today I will be talking about a very interesting person who is none other than Samuel Beckett, who was born on 13th April 1906 at Foxrock, which is located in Ireland, and he passed away on 22nd of December 1989 in Paris, which is located in France. And to talk about his personality, he was not only an author but critic, playwright, as well as Nobel Prize. He was awarded Nobel Prize in the year 1969 for literature. And Beckett wrote not only in English but also in French languages, and he is notably known, or is famous for the theatre of the absurd. And to talk about his religion, he was Protestant, wherein Anglo-Irish background is his native kind of thing. And then coming to the age of 14, when he was at the age of 14, he did schooling from Portora Royal School, which is located in northern part of Ireland. And then 1923 to 1927, when he studied in Trinity College, which is located in Dublin, Ireland, he received BA degree with the languages, that is Romance languages, which he learnt in Trinity College, Dublin, Ireland. And then he moved to Belfast, wherein for a short period of time he taught, and then he became a reader in English in Paris in the year 1928. Thereafter, in this period when he was teaching, he met his dear friend, or his revered friend, whom he I should say he was his companion or his best friend till the last point of time, and he is none other than James Joyce, who is the famous author of the novel Ulysses. Then in 1930 he returned to Ireland and became lecturer in the language French, and he taught in that same college where he achieved his degree, that is Trinity College, located in Ireland. And thereafter 1932 he became restless, and the reason behind he became restless may be the things which he did in the while teaching. He was not much interested in teaching, but rather than that he thought that I should explore some new things. So he went to London, not only London, but then he went to France, Germany and Italy, and here he might have he might have influence from Dante and several other notable people. And then coming to 1937 he decided to settle in Paris. And then Beckett's life was dedicated or depicted in his first volume of essays, which was published in the year 2009. But the first volume of essays, it was from the year 1929 to 1940. And then second volume of essays was from 1941 to 1956. Then came the period of World War II, when 1939 to 1945 is the period. And here, when the World War II was going on, he was living in Paris, which was occupied or which was controlled by Germans. And then he joined an underground resistance, as underground resistance group, which is located, or which was there in that part of land, that is Paris. And he joined this group in 1941, and then in 1942 his group was arrested by Gestapo, and then he went into a hiding, and that was kind of unoccupied zone of France. But then too, until freedom, he submitted himself into an agricultural laborer. So you can just imagine a person who used to teach as a lecturer in Trinity College, because then he came to Paris and then he was staying there, and because of the Gestapo who took control of that place, then he was forced, or maybe due to some kind of situation, he has to work as a agricultural laborer. And then after that, in 1945 he once again returned to England, and then he volunteered as Irish Red Cross Society, which helps to take care of the people. And then thereafter once again he came back to France, and then as an interpreter in a military hospital he worked in Saint Lo, which is located in Normandy. So these are the few points which right now I highlighted about Samuel Beckett, and now I would be highlighting the major works of Samuel Beckett as well as the people from whom he was influenced. And to talk about the people whom he was influenced, that is, there followed a period of intense creativity, the most concentratedly fruitful period of Beckett's life. That is, his relatively few pre-war publications included 2 essays on James Joyce and the French novelist Marcel Proust. The volume More Pricks Than Kicks, which was published in 1934, contained 10 stories describing episodes in the life of a Dublin intellectual, Beleka Shua, and the novel Murphy, published in 1938, concerns an Irishman in London who escapes from a girl he is about to marry to a life of contemplation as a male nurse in a mental institution. And his 2 slim volumes of poetry entitled as Horoscope, published in 1930, a poem on the French philosopher René Descartes. As I told you that he was influenced from philosophers also, and the first one is René Descartes, and the collection Echoes Bones, published in 1935, as well as there are a number of short stories as well as poems which are scattered in various periodicals, and he wrote novel entitled Dream of Fair to middling women in mid-1930s, but it remained incomplete and was not published until 1992. During his years in hiding in unoccupied France, Beckett also completed another novel entitled What, which was not published until 1953. After his return to Paris between 1946 and 1949, Beckett produced a number of short stories, the major prose narratives entitled Molloy, 1951, Malone and Meurtre, 1951, entitled as Malone Dies, and Le Innommable, 1953, that is entitled as Unnameable, and the 2 plays, the unpublished 3-act Eleutheria and the final and the most famous Waiting for Godot. And it was not until 1951, however, that these works saw the light of the day. After many refusals, Suzanne Dubois Dumpsnell, later Beckett, Miss Beckett, who was Beckett's lifelong companion, finally succeeding in finding a publisher for the novel Molloy, or the play Molloy. And when this book was not only proved a modest commercial success, but also was received with enthusiasm by the French critics, the same publisher brought out 2 other novels and Waiting for Godot. It was with the amazing success for Waiting for Godot at the small theatre which was located in Paris, performed in the month of January 1953, that Beckett's rise to world fame began. And Beckett continued writing, but more slowly than in the immediate post-war years. Plays for the stage and radio and a number of prose works occupied much of his attention. This period of Beckett's life is treated in a second volume of letters published in 2011, covering the years 1941 to 1956, which right now I have told you. And Beckett continued to live in Paris, but most of his writing was done in a small house secluded in the Marne Valley, a short drive from Paris. His total dedication of his art extended to his complete avoidance of all public or personal publicity, of appearances on radio or television, and of all journalistic interviews. When in 1969 he received the Nobel Prize for Literature, he accepted the award but declined the trip to Stockholm to avoid public speech at the ceremonies. A substantial selection of archival and epistolary material was published as Dear Mr. Beckett, letters from the publisher, the Samuel Beckett File, published in 2016, offering readers insight into his process. And now I would be talking about continuity of Samuel Beckett's philosophical explorations. Samuel Beckett's writing reveals his own immense learning. It is full of subtle allusions to a multitude of literary sources as well as to a number of philosophical and theological writers. The dominating influences on Beckett's thoughts were undoubtedly the Italian poet Dante and the French philosopher, as I told you, René Descartes, the 17th century Dutch philosopher, as well as 17th century Dutch philosopher Arnold Geulincx. a pupil of Descartes who dealt with the question of how the physical and spiritual sides of a man interact, and finally his fellow Irishman and revered friend James Joyce. But it is by no means essential for the understanding of Beckett's work that one be aware of all the literary, philosophical and theological illusions. The widespread idea fostered by the popular press that Beckett's work is concerned primarily with the sordid side of human existence, with tramps and with cripples who inhabit trash cans, is a fundamental misconception. He dealt with human beings in such extreme situations not because he was interested in the sordid and diseased aspects of life, but because he concentrated on the essential aspects of human experience. The subject matter of so much of world's literature, the social relation between the individuals, their manners and possessions, their struggles for rank and position, or the conquest of the sexual objects, appeared to Beckett as mere external trappings of existence. The accidental and superficial aspects that mask the basic problems and the basic anguish of the human condition. The basic questions for Beckett seem to be these, that is, how can we come to terms with the fact that, without ever having asked for it, we have been thrown into the world, into being, that is, life, and who we are. What is the true nature of ourself? What does a human being mean when he says I? What appears to the superficial view as a concentration on the sordid thus emerges as an attempt to grapple with the most essential aspects of the human condition. The two heroes of the Waiting for Godot, for instance, are frequently referred to by critics as tramps, yet they were never described as such by Beckett. They are merely two human beings in the most basic human situation of a being in the world and not knowing what they are for. Since man is a rational being and cannot imagine that his being thrown into any situation should or could be entirely pointless, the two vaguely assume that their presence in the world, represented by any empty stage with a solitary tree, must be due to the fact that they are waiting for someone, but they have no positive evidence that this person, whom they call Godot, ever made such an appointment, or indeed that he actually exists. Their patient and passive waiting is contrasted by Beckett with the mindless and equally purposeless journeyings that fill the existence of a second pair of characters. In most dramatic literature, the characters pursue well-defined objectives, seeking power, wealth, marriage, and with a desirable partner or something of the sort. Yet, once they have attained these objectives, are they or the audience any nearer answering the basic questions that Beckett poses? Does the hero, having won his lady, really live with her happily ever after? That is apparently why Beckett chose to discard what he regarded as the inessential questions and began where other writing left off. And now I would be talking about the plays which Samuel Beckett penned down, and most of the Beckett's plays are also take place on a similar level of abstraction. Fin de Partie, one-act play that is published in 1957, entitled as Endgame, describes about the dissolution of the relation between a master, Ham, and his servant, Claw. They inhabit a circular structure with two high windows, perhaps the image of the inside of a human skull. And in Krapp's last tape, which was also one-act play first performed in 1958, there is an old man who listens to the confessions he recorded earlier and is happier in his ears when he recorded those tape. And this becomes an image of the mystery of the self. For the old Krapp, the voice of the younger Krapp is that of a total stranger. So what Samuel Beckett is telling here is that when in the Krapp's last tape, when he recorded his voice in his earlier years, he thought that that would be helpful for me in my older days. But when he became, when he crossed his 60 years or 70, when he heard that tape, he thought that this is not my voice. And then in Happy Days, in his another play, a woman literally sinking continually deeper into the ground, nonetheless continues to prattle about the trivialities of life. In other words, perhaps as one gets nearer and nearer death, one still pretends that life will go on normally forever. And there are three prose works of Samuel Beckett, that is Molloy, Malone Dies and The Unnameable, are collection of stories and texts for nothing, wherein Samuel Beckett is telling that the basic problem in these is, when I say I am writing, I am talking about myself, one part of me describing what another part of me is doing, and I am both the observer and the object I observe. Which of the two is real? In his prose narratives, Beckett tried to pursue this elusive essence of the self, which to him manifested itself as a constant stream of thought and of observations about the self. And here we come to know that Samuel Beckett, he focused upon stream of consciousness technique, and Beckett's later works tended toward extreme concentration and brevity. Come and Go, 1967, a playet or dramaticule, as he called it, contains only 121 words that are spoken by 3 characters, and the prose fragment Lessness consists of about 60 sentences, each of which occur twice. His series Acts Without Words are exactly what the title denotes, and one of his last plays, Rockabye, lasts for 15 minutes. Such brevity is merely an expression of Beckett's determination to pare his writing to essentials, to waste no words on trivia. So here Samuel Beckett, when he is trying to highlight about the life which we live in this world, what is the meaning of that life, wherein a person, when he desires so many things. If I talk about the childhood, the child, he desires the toys, and when he grows up, he thinks that I should get a good college wherein I can study well, or the professors or the teachers would be well, as the environment would be well or good. Then when he joins the job or where he works, he thinks that I should be in a better or a good position. So Samuel Beckett, throughout his plays, he is telling that where are we going, or where are we reaching, what is our goal, we don't know. And when we are writing also, now also I am explaining to you, I am sitting here, but the thing which I am here, that is I am the object and you are the observer. But who is the thing that is in the if we talk about I am present here, the observer is you, that you are also observing me. So these things are lucidly portrayed by Samuel Beckett in his plays, and if you go in deeper about the play that is Waiting for Godot, there are 2 characters, main characters, who are waiting for Godot, but they only don't know that who is Godot, when is he going to arrive, whether he knows that these 2 people are waiting for him, and so many things. So with this note, I conclude this video here. I hope you all have liked this video, and please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the red button there, and click the notification bell icon also, so that you can get the notification of my upcoming videos. Thank you so much. Take care, and please don't forget to share my videos. Take care.